Hello everyone, Danny here today to talk to you about an audiobook. I just finished it. I am so excited to tell you about it. What a book! But before I get to that, I have a favor to ask. If, like me, you love audiobooks, subscribe to my channel, please. Turn on notifications. Join me in my audiobook journey. Now, the book that I'm talking about is Allen Eskens' book, The Deep, Dark Descending. This is the third book in his Max Rupert series. And what a book. The way the book ends, I don't know if it's the end of this series or if there's going to be more Max Rupert to come. I hope and pray there's more Max Rupert to come. I still have allergies, so sorry about that. The book starts off with Max Rupert standing over someone, an axe handle in hand, about to commit murder. And if you've read any of the first books about Max Rupert, you know he's a Minnesota police detective. And police detectives don't commit murder, they solve murders. Now, his wife and his unborn child, his wife was pregnant, was killed in a hit and run, which, you know, Max Rupert tried investigating on his own. It was ruled a hit and run, and nothing's ever gone anywhere with it. And now the book starts off with him standing over this guy, and he's having this internal debate. He wants to bash his skull in, and he can't bring himself to do it. So he comes up with a different plan for how he's going to kill this man. He's got two debates. One, he wants the man to know why he's killing him. Two, he really wants to make sure that this is the correct man. So he comes up with this other plan on how to kill the man that he's now captured. Then it jumps back a couple of weeks. And he's given a piece of evidence that sheds new life on his wife's killing. He discovers he always thought that his job as a police detective got his wife killed. He never bought the hit and run accident theory. He believed that she was murdered. It was his fault because of his job. Well, this new evidence sheds light on his wife, and yes, it was a murder committed by two men at the behest of a third man, but it was not due to his job. It was due to something that his wife discovered in her role as a social worker. That sets him on the path. And the book bounces back and forth to the future, to the past investigation, to the future, or to the present, not to the future, to the present, back to the present. So you follow his investigation. You have several things going on simultaneous to his investigating his wife. You have a man who kills his girlfriend and then decides to destroy the evidence by putting her in her van and lighting the van on fire. At the same time, he lights himself on fire and actually calls 911. And this brings a higher-up who is an enemy of Max Rupert into play. The higher-up who's an enemy of Max Rupert decides to get involved with Max Rupert's investigation into this man killing his girlfriend and to impede and stop the investigation. And you have Max's partner, Nikki, who figures out that Max is back to investigating his wife's death and wants him to include her. But Max can't include her because he knows that his investigation is illegal. Nothing he discovers will be allowed in a court of law. So the only way justice is going to come from his investigation is if he himself brings the justice. And he does not want Nikki involved in what the world would consider murder. So you have his investigation of, the van murder, of the burning of the girlfriend. You have his attempt to discredit and destroy this higher-up political figure that's his enemy. You have him trying to figure out how to deal with his partner, Nikki, and you have his investigation into his wife's murder. All that is happening in the flashbacks to the past. Then it flashes to the present. In the present situation, You have Max Rupert dealing with three situations. One, the physical aspect of him setting up this murder of this man, who it's an all-day affair. He's not killing the man quickly. It's going to be a painful death, and the man gets to sit and watch him prepare it as Max tries to get the guy to talk to him, because he wants, one, the guy to know what's coming and why it's coming, and two, he really wants to nail down and know for a fact that he's got the right guy. And then also, in the present, you have his internal demons coming up. Is he doing the right thing? Does he want to be the kind of man who can kill another man in cold blood? Because up till now, any killing he's done has been in the line of duty, but this will not be in the line of duty. This will be vengeance. It also, to a certain degree, will be justice, as you figure out as the story goes on. You have his conversations with the man, and the man trying to convince Max that he's innocent, that he's being played by another character. It's done well enough that there are times when you almost wonder, is he being played by this other character? But if you stop and you think back over the evidence uncovered so far, you're like, he really can't be being played. It's got to be this guy. All the evidence points to this guy. And it'll bounce back and forth. The investigation, his arranging to murder this man. Because of the internal debates, you're never sure, will he have the strength to go through with murdering this guy, or will he end up giving up at the end and deciding he can't be the kind of man who would murder another man for vengeance, or, as many people would say, justice, because the man definitely deserves to die, and it would be evil to release him back into the world. So he's caught between a rock and a hard place. Part of his conscience, it would be evil to kill this man. Part of his conscience, it would be evil to release this man back out into the world. It would be justice to kill this man. It's fascinating internal debates there. In the investigation, this is the book where he solves his wife's killing. He tracks down the two men who actually committed the murder. One is already dead. There's nothing he can do about it. The third one, he confronts, and that person commits suicide. And then he starts on the trail of the fourth with the help of another person, not Nikki, but another person who has equal reason to want this man dead, who wants to kill the bad guy herself. And that's where then, when in his conversations with the bad guy, the bad guy's trying to convince him that girl is actually playing him. And it's really well done. In the end, a decision is made. It is a decision that I, as a listener, feel was the right decision. And I really like the fact that there's no debate on his part when it comes down to the time he makes his decision, he takes his action, and then he prepares for the anguish that he expects to come, because he's expecting to feel torn up and anguished and guilty over his decision. Like I said, I'm not going to tell you what his decision is, but if he decides not to kill the man, by this point in time, it is very obvious that not taking this man out of the world would be an evil act. It would be justice to kill this man. At the same time, the man has not been tried in a court of law, so he would be taking the law into his own hands. So in a certain way, that would be evil. So whichever decision he makes, he's expecting to feel internal anguish over his choice. He doesn't. He has peace. Now, the book ends with him cutting all ties to his old life and heading out to a cabin. And this could be the final book in this series. I mean, the way this book ends, I don't see where the author could go with his life to bring him back into his old job. I really, truly hope and pray that this is not the final book in this series. I like Max Rupert a lot. I want to continue listening to Max Rupert's life. I've looked. The next book, which the author just released, is a fresh story, fresh character. It's still in Minneapolis, but it does not involve Max Rupert that I could see from the publisher summary in any way at all. So I don't know if the author is going to go back to his Max Rupert story. If Mr. Eskens actually sees this review, please go back and finish Max Rupert's life. I want more of Max Rupert. Narrator was an amazing choice for a narrator. He has a voice. There's an old-time radio program, and I can't think of the name of the old-time radio program, but it would start off with, hello, this is so-and-so, me and my partner Friday, June 26th, something like that, and it was that's who this guy's voice reminds me of. It's kind of a calm, gravelly, it's a voice you would trust. He gets to put a lot of emotion into it regardless. It's an excellent choice for the narrator. The voice fits the character perfectly, in my opinion. There is some mature content. He uncovers a prostitution ring. There's, discussion of some of the things that happens to some of the women. None of it graphic, none anything like that. There is some mature language in the book as well, and of course you have the final scene with him and the guy, which some children could find traumatic. I didn't at all, but there is a bit of violence in the book. That being said, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Turn on notifications. Once again, join me in my audiobook journey. Questions, comments, feedback, put them in the comments. Send them my direction. I would love to hear from you. But most importantly, no matter what else you do today, make sure that today you listen to at least one really good book. And I absolutely, definitely recommend The Deep, Dark Descending by Allen Eskens. Thank you.